As the sun sets on one chapter of the Chronicles of India, it rises to illuminate the beginnings of another, a fresh chapter based on union, marking the end of coalition politics. For India, inclusive development and growing from the bottom is a non-option, an opportunity for multinational companies to leapfrog their growth story by transforming the lives of 700 million poor people, an opportunity to capture new knowledge by achieving breakthrough price-performance criteria and migrate these learnings in developed economies. This is reverse innovation, and these are very exciting times for reverse innovation in India. Until now, India was the perfect land to understand and experiment with reverse innovation. But now, with the consumer market more saturated than ever, and with India growing from the bottom, it's time to employ reverse innovation on a much larger scale. Reverse innovation is an opportunity for multinational companies to transform the world into a fairer and cleaner place, and India is the perfect place to start. You've heard the old adage that if you can drive in India, you can drive anywhere in the world. India is here to tell you now that because of its sheer diversity, if you can do business here, you can do business anywhere in the world. Per capita GDP, policy, ethnography, and cultural geography are the knobs to develop solutions for non-consumers. In India, these knobs are tuned differently in different regions, making it one country with several homogeneous segments of non-consumers. However, the advantage is that each region is as big as an average-sized underdeveloped country. What this means is that Indian innovations can be applied in other emerging economies before migrating it to developed economies. Innovations of Kashmir can be migrated to war and conflict-ridden economies. Innovations of Central India can be applied in Sub-Saharan Africa, and innovations of Kerala can be applied in Myanmar and Cambodia. In 2014, the people of India have given a mandate for a single-party majority. In the past, the people of India held their regional identities higher than their national identities, but now they want change, and they've come together. The new government's first action just proves how strong the pulse of the people was. The government did exactly what the people wanted. But how do we know exactly what the people of India think? Because Mahesh Sriram, the managing director of iIndia, Bhairavi Jani, executive director of the SCA Group, Eji Uma Mahesh, deputy secretary for the Formula One Indian Grand Prix, and Venkat Nagarajan, a cinematographer and graphic designer, decided to employ grassroots research, studying, experiencing, and documenting India on a single canvas. A 51-day road trip across India, covering 24 states and one union territory.
I have found this inexplicable emotional bond with this country. And I sometimes see things that just bring tears to my eyes, out of happiness with the grace that I feel for the land that I'm born to.
Why not take a 60-day block and go all over India and capture India like in 60 days? And that's how it all happened. Like one of the madness what we wanted to do, just travel across India in 60 days.
It takes multiple rebirths to know what India is, even at the peripheral level. It was my idea that this particular trip, which we have named Highway to Swades, it is high time we took the roads and had a way to experience India and to use that experience to give it ready-made to people whom we are interested in and who are interested in getting that idea and the inspiration and our experience from us.
Because we exist in multiple time zones with multiple cultures at the same time, like this mix and match of things, without losing any of the individual identities of the, it's like a perfect harmony. I wanted to bring that alive to a lot of other people.
What the Highway to Swadesh team found in their long journey were happy, optimistic, confident, inclusive, and accommodative Indians. Their main concerns were health, education, and corruption. Their expectations were livelihood, infrastructure, and security. The empowerment and emancipation of women in India was also an important topic that came up during the 51-day journey. One of the most significant commonalities, in the opinion of various Indians, was their preference of non-migratory jobs. They wanted employment without movement. From the busiest cities to the most remote tribal villages, the team traveled through this great paradoxical country. Each day, the Highway to Swadesh team met many intriguing characters that gave wonderful insight into the mindset of Indians in 2014, characters that shed light on what it would take to do inclusive business in India, and characters who proved that they are ready for reverse innovation. In general, they met four kinds of people: people on or below the poverty line, anti-nationals, field staff of non-profits, and on-the-ground government servants. They also made it clear that you can't innovate in India using old development practices. It's time for a clean slate innovation. Here are a few case studies of some of those insightful minds. One of the first stops of this mammoth journey was to interact with the chili farmers en route to Amravati. What was fascinating about these farmers and what grabbed the attention of the team was their uncanny knack of understanding who is aligned to their real problems. They say that they will vote for anyone who gives them work. They're willing to travel for work, and they're willing to send their women for work. This stop really showcased democracy in action. It proved that India is becoming a democracy that is understandable to the global market. The Highway to Swadesh team met Jay Gala in Andhra Pradesh. Even as a child, Jay was a thinker. He was inspired by Lincoln. Here's a man who became an incredibly successful industrialist without ever losing sight of his politics and the idea of transforming India. He initiates industry and activity that mobilizes masses, impacts people, transforms societies, and develops case studies of how industry and economic activity in a remote place can create non-migratory jobs. Now a member of the parliament, Jay advocates this from a political platform. Jay, who was contesting for the Telugu Desam party, transforms every weakness of his into a strength. He doesn't speak the local language, but makes up for it with his tremendous business success to gain the trust and support of the people. In essence, Jay Gala pilots and tests integrated community development businesses and is a truly inspiring case study. The Santal tribes are one of the most fascinating communities that the Highway to Swadesh team met. The Santals are one of the largest tribes in India. They're also the poorest people in the country. Talking to the Santals gave the Highway to Swadesh team a lot of insight into how important non-migratory jobs really are to these people. This is the Mardi family. Karl and Kalo Mardi have 2 children. The head of the Mardi family states that the Nariga scheme, which is an employment guarantee scheme, helps him, including a little extra income from various small jobs. The Mardis earn about 3,000 rupees or $50 a month. That being said, these Santals live quite comfortably. Their main fear is health and hunger. Kalo Mardi showcases a very high level of thinking. She wants upliftment of the poor through schemes, practical education, and self-help groups to ensure food security. Like most other communities in India, the Santals too would prefer non-migratory jobs. The Mardis are okay with traveling up to 60 kilometers for work, but not much more. What's inspiring about this family is that they both work in an ecotourism resort that has been opened in the area. The resort employs these locals. That way, the Mardis earn an extra 9,000 and 7,000 rupees respectively and don't have to travel for work. This kind of employment without movement and inclusive development make the Madis earn a lot more than most of the Santals. More proof that understanding the grassroots mindset is key to doing inclusive business in India.
Meghalaya actually is full of people who are very self-respecting people. These are not people who are really looking for, being pulled out of something or dependency and all. Very self-respecting tribal culture, very proud of themselves, very, very hard-working people. The government here has, in the past and it's now trying its best through various initiatives to create that partnership between the traditional structures at the village level and the modern day developmental programs and marry the two to create a sustainable inclusive development process in this state.
Shanti Biswas is a woman living on the Assam-Meghalaya border. She runs a small general store and her monthly income is 30,000 rupees. She has studied only up to the 7th grade. She's married and has a 7-year-old child. Shanti claims to have been cheated by a healthcare company and demonstrates high-level thinking when she says that if she were a political leader, the first thing she'd do is somehow kill inflation. Because when you have inflation, there's an unpredictability of profits, and because of that, you can't plan properly or trust anyone. That would be her prime focus. Talking to Shanti also proves that identifying and challenging the 5 gaps of reverse innovation is key. The performance gap, the infrastructure gap, the regulatory gap, the sustainability gap, and the preference gap. For example, her definition of a house is profoundly simple and unique.
Folks, here is Shanti Biswas. Right? She's got such clarity on what exactly should be the $300 house. What she really tells is, we don't have to go on this big innovation dilemma. You focus on only 3 things. A, 4 walls. B, roof. C, toilets. And beyond that, she says there has to be a kitchen. But the most important thing what she says is, you need to write a document, hand it over to them. Make sure that they own it. Make sure that they feel proud about it. Make sure that they have a roof on their home. And what she really tells is that once you have this, then what you're really doing is you're empowering that individual to actually go out and work and participate in economic activity.
As you can see, without physical evidence that the house belongs to Shanti, not much else matters to her. Identifying need gaps like these automatically means there's a case for reverse innovation. Shanti Biswas is just more proof that the more frugal and less formally educated the people are, the greater is their ability to think big. The Basin program is an NGO effort with the government of Meghalaya that essentially is run by extremely motivated youngsters who are paid on par with any multinational company's pay scale. The Basin program is an employment reference scheme. They advise people on the best places to start groups and businesses with the promise of an enhanced livelihood. It's a scheme to get people to be less dependent on government aids and be more self-reliant by participating with the government and telling them what needs they have.
As we can see, that there are many opportunities here in Meghalaya, and moreover, being a part of my state, so I just want to develop our own people, and being in a program like being in an organization like Basin gives us the opportunity to help the people.
Now let me ask you a question. My question to you is, there are opportunities in other states. In Madras, when I see there are so many young people from your state who are working there in different capacities. Yes. Now you have decided to stay here and work. Yeah. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Why did you stay back?
The reason is that I joined this Meghalaya Basin Development Authority is that I came to know about, it's all about promoting the livelihood of the people, and especially those people living in the rural areas. So I would love to see that the living condition and the income generating capacity of the rural people gets improved day by day through this organization.
The Basin program have got district offices all over Shillong, managed by people who are recruited and managed through extremely innovative management practices which are equivalent to any kind of multinational corporation. These offices have the same design, the same color scheme, the same uniform. Customer service is of a first-class quality.
Then we have water, because why? Mostly in the government offices where we don't find, sometimes people come from far away places, because villages out here, they're very far away. They're not near, no. It's like sometimes at 50 kilometers away from the block. So when people come from all the way, so they feel tired, so we are supposed to give them water, then give them tea and snacks, then they interact with us. Be as friendly as possible, make them feel at home.
The Basin story is an inspiring and a wonderful innovation in how an inclusive development program should be conceived and implemented.
I think the fact that the youth in Meghalaya want to come back, want to stay here, are not wanting to, not all of them wanting to migrate. I'm not saying that many don't. Wanting to work towards building bridges and market linkages for their own rural communities and their communities. I think it's a very, very positive sign for a long roadmap where youth will play a critical role in making inclusive development happen in Meghalaya.
These are just a few people out of hundreds that Mahesh, Eji, Bhairavi and Venkat interacted with. It's time to stop producing what the buyer wants, and it's time to start producing what the non-buyer needs. These are words straight from the people of India. They are ready. One thing's for certain, India is ready for reverse innovation, but the people will not wait. They will find local solutions if you don't come soon. The clock is ticking, which is why 2014 is a perfect time to start. Transforming emerging economies is no longer a decoration in a portfolio. It's the very oxygen for multinational survival. So hit the road and don't look back. There are no brakes on the highway to Swadesh.